Okay. Now we're streaming.
Don't worry about I'll doubt it anyway.
Okay. Okay. And now it says we have an excellent connection, but I don't
Oh
see
yeah.
us on here yet. How do you
May
look
take a sec.
at questions? Oh yeah, there we are.
I'm gonna. Are you?
I think
We're up.
so. I think we're live, pal.
Hey, are we live, pal? Are we live?
Pal, I
Hold
think
on.
we're
Hey,
live.
welcome to Loser Lee's Wrestling. Where the hell is this nonsense? It doesn't have it up. I'm gonna find it. Loser Lee's Wrestling. This is what's of AEW Dynamite. This has been Dynamite. Here with Roy Lazarowitz. How are you
Woo!
doing, Roy?
I'm good. I'm good. Before we get into it, people are used to us going up a little later. Should we stall
Sure.
a little bit?
Sure. Let's talk about things that are going on right now. I'm in Atlantic City right now, right next to the Oceans Casino. Right next to the Oceans Casino. I am in the tallest room of the tallest area, just away from the people. How are you doing, Roy? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. My brother got married this past weekend. That was a really exciting time.
I'm off in the chat for honk honk. Pirate Johnson's in the chat. Pirate
Pirate.
Johnson says, "Yep, YouTube's not even counting side." Pirate Johnson, thank you so much for joining us today. We're just waiting for some more to join. Red with no hat. Oh my God. they know my secret. As has added my secret. As thank you for joining the chat. Smiz says, "Hey guys, give everyone give Smiz and S and Pirate Johnson, first time messenger, maybe a long time viewer. We don't know that, Royster. Let's talk a little bit about. Let's just talk about what happened today. This is Loser Lee's Wrestling. This is the whoos and whats of AEW Dynamite. Irrigation. I don't mean to do that, but sometimes we got to do that here. This is the whoos and whats, so the best and worst of AEW Dynamite. Today's episode is AEW Dynamite Homecoming. Homecoming, Royster. How about this? Good night so far.
I feel like this was a really weird show.
A really weird show. That's fair.
Really strange. Go. I'm sorry.
Described as a transitional show.
Yeah.
It felt very in the middle of a lot of things going on. If you were to give it the Meltzer thumbs up, thumbs down, or thumbs in the middle, what are you doing?
It's a middle. It's a big time middle for me. It's not a thumbs down. It's a middle trending down, though, which is saying something. And the other thing to think about, too, is the last few shows have just been so off the charts crazy with so much going on.
Off the charts.
You got to chill out a little bit, I guess. And that's what they did here.
And they need a little ebb and flow. I'm not mad at the show. I think mine is thumbs in the middle, slightly pointing up. But let's talk a little bit about the show. But wait, right now I was piss poor frame rate can wait. Bless you, Pirate Johnson. Fuck that OVW bullshit. They're coming to LLW, the Loser Lee's Wrestling Crew. Bless you, Pirate Johnson. Bless you so much. Let's talk about the woos and what's going on today. Let's talk about the biggest woo of the evening. Royster, off the top of your head, what shines the most? And I think we're going to be on the same page about this. I
would say the biggest woo for me is the match itself of Malachi Black versus Cody. I felt
very good.
Malachi Black crushed him. He should have crushed him. He did a great job. It should have absolutely gone that way. I feel a little weird about the post-match segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's dissect some Black versus Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. They both come out with their long entrances, which I actually really dug. I was missing Cody's entrance, honestly. Yeah. Cody's long, stare at the kind of super epic John Cena entrance, that, always, every single time he comes out, he has the epic WrestleMania entrance. And the Malachi Black has a little devil coming out of the shadow. They had their match. They've been building up for weeks of good versus Malachi Black. Let's talk about the match first. Like you said, Malachi Black looked good.
Awesome.
Did he not?
Yes. It took me a second to get into his little battle shorties that he had on because I'm a traditionalist. I like tights. But
You didn't like
I
the
like
battle
them.
shorties. You didn't like
They grew on me.
you liked them.
Me.
Okay,
they grew
good,
on me,
good,
for
good,
sure.
good, good. I like them too. I like them too. I like they almost look like a plus size woman's swimsuit. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm a plus size, but it's like, you know what I'm talking about. The frills on sides
Totally.
to throw a little mystery, a little mystery to the whole ensemble. But I really liked it. He was really crisp. He was in great shape, great shape, and fast. Everything looked so good. And then he get. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say you're 100% right. And the thing that I like so much about it is that whether they did it intentionally or not, they perfectly played off of Malachi Black's promo about how he's a horse and he needs to put out. He couldn't keep up. Cody just couldn't keep up. He's just not on the same level as Malachi Black. And he just showed it to him. He just crushed him. It was great.
He crushed him. And Swiz is here to agree. His entrance is great, but he's got some little boxers on. He same thought as you did. Swiz, good point. Did they grow on you, Swiz? Let us know if those little shorty boxers, big shoddy boxers, grew on you. So then he gave him. I don't know what he's calling it yet. It's about that's roundhouse spin kick, which connected Gray, sold like $1 million. He goes over and gives the foot on the chest. Powerful win. They see big things with this guy. For them to do that, because we're midway through the match, I'm just like, oh, Malachi's going to win. But then I was just like, but what if he doesn't? Because like Cody is known sometimes to like kind of like, who else did he do this to? Didn't he beat what's his name? Go-Go?
He beat a Go-Go.
He beat a Go-Go.
And
he beat
they
someone
did that
else.
when the company first started. They did that chair shot angle where Sean Spears hits him with the chair. He's got this like ultra heat, and you think, oh, Sean Spears is going to beat him, and blah. Yeah, he just crushed him. Yeah,
crunched him. And so like, but he beat him clean. Very little. He did a little cheating things, but that's great. I was fine with the eye gouge and loved it.
Yeah.
Then after the match, Cody gets up, and Cody comes to the ring. Doesn't even wait for the guy to wait for him to stand up. Joe Rogan has a rule on UFC where he won't interview people that have got knocked out because he doesn't want them to give loopy answers. Tony just give a fuck. He goes over and sticks in his face, but he gets up. They give him that's Layla Hirsch's crutch.
I texted our friend Alex. I texted him that crutch must have been for Layla Hirsch. That's really funny.
No, that's real. Oh, Alex Merkin?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Alex Merkin, if you're watching, give us a honk. We're not giving you one until you show up. But he gave this very emotional promo, basically his retirement promo. Which I feel I've seen maybe before from Cody.
Yeah, it kind of feels like, to harken back to the 90s when Shawn Michaels did the, I lost my smile promo. It kind of came off that way, kind of disingenuous.
Okay, let's
yeah.
High as shit when he said that one. He's glassy eyes going every which direction. This was my issue. I get the disingenuousness of it because I feel like he comes out with these heartfelt promos once a month.
Yeah, he's able to cry on command very well.
Yeah, he cry on command. But I thought it was a pretty good promo.
Yeah. And
then Malachi Black, as he's taking off his boots, as he's leaving the ring for the next generation to pick up and put on, then comes Malachi Black and he freaking nails him. What does he nail him with the baby crutch?
With the baby crutch.
He takes the baby crutch and nails him with it, and he falls on his boots, shoeless in the middle of the ring.
He's wearing one shoe, and Malachi Black is holding the other one.
So what, you didn't like that?
I thought it was okay. I wish Malachi Black had just kicked him in the head again rather than use the crutch. Like, he should have just kicked him in the back of the head.
100%. He shouldn't have used that crutch.
Yeah.
The baby crutch was actually a big distraction. That's your point. The kick would have sufficed and would have put him over more again.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
And we know that he's leaving for a while. His, reality show that he's a judge on is renewed, so he's going to leave and do that for a while. I just hope they do something a little different the next time around. I don't need to do the same, Cody's got dark hair again, and he's evil Cody, but he's still a good guy. Let's do something different.
I wish that when they didn't keep that, but everyone in the LLW family knows how upset I'm about that. But would you say the match was a woo and that after part was a what, or would you put that what stuff in the middle? That the after part in the middle?
I would say overall, after parts in the middle, Match itself a woo, definite woo. It was exactly
Because
what it needed to be.
I don't see this feud continuing immediately. I see Cody taking a break right now,
definitely,
which is good. And then they have a strong feud when they get back. Black versus CM Punk.
Sure.
That's kind of what I'm
thinking absolutely.
Of. That's kind of what I'm thinking of as CM Punk's Thursday show. But who knows? We'll find out. We're going to keep going. Moving on. Let's go to the next. Honestly, I don't. Screams off the page to me. Anything really get you going today?
Nothing really.
Before we go into my passive woos.
I would say the closest thing to like a real woo for me was after the first 3 minutes of the Hoovy Chris Jericho match. That was a woo for me, and I'll tell you why. So I feel like Hoovy showed up. First of all, if you follow Hoovy on Twitter, it's a great time.
You gotta follow Hoovy.
In the last couple of days, he's just like, I'm going to AEW. This is so great. I'm so excited. He's just genuinely really excited to be there.
He's Italian on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's
the juice is loose. How about it?
The juice is loose. A piece of pie.
But I think he showed up and he was like, hey, guys, I know you haven't seen me wrestle in a while, but I don't do what I used to do. I have a new style because I'm 46 now. And they were like, sure, you can do that. But for the first few minutes, do some like planchas or do some old Hoovy stuff. And he's like, okay, I can try. And Jericho's like, hey, I'm 50. So this is also going to be kind of challenging for me. So the first few minutes, it kind of felt a little disjointed, but I think they really recovered, to be honest. And I think Hoovy, once he started throwing spin kicks and super kicks and kind of doing some power moves and stuff, I think the match actually came together nicely.
It was a little clunky in the beginning. It was just honestly just a huge letdown from the past week. Mm-hmm. Like, the thing is, even though I did not like the match, I thought the match with Gage was bad, was objectively bad. But I do think that, like, it was a spectacle and should have been if this is how they're going to go forward, where they're going to have Juventud in a first person to hit their top rope finisher, then go for the pin match, and then a Wardlow match.
Yeah.
Then a Wardlow big scrunk for Wardlow. Frick that guy. That's a weird placement. Yep. That should have been right after then Hoovy.
Yep.
Then Gage, then Lance Arm to give us something emotional.
That's a really interesting idea, though, taking the emotional angle, because right now Wardlow's the giant that we kept talking about. Like, Wardlow's the giant. It's not Big Show.
Should have been Big Show.
Yeah, it should have been Big Show, 100%. But now it's Wardlow, and it's underwhelming. We can get into it in a little bit. I have some notes about this specific thing, but like the way AEW orders their storylines is very interesting to me.
What do you mean?
So like Nick Gage was the big one, right? Like, to me, Nick Gage is the big one, and now we're going down.
Yeah.
And then like
no, 100%. This is poor. It's called a bad booking. Let's talk about their bad garbage.
Well,
booking.
the other thing.
Because that's what it is.
Matt Hardy, right? Like, Christian and Matt Hardy fought. Christian beat Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's the boss. So now he fights the Blade? Shouldn't it have been the other way around?
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't understand what they're trying. Why this match with the Blade?
Yeah.
But like with this match with Blade is the reason for him to be the champion or go for the championship. Like, well, you beat the Blade. Maybe can you make it next? We got something here from Schwiz here. It's Pirate Johnson. Big woo when we were talking about Malachi Black and those little baby shorts. Big woo overall if Malachi puts some tights or trunks on. Okay, so Schwiz is definitely in the team trunks, and I like these swishy things. I think they're kind of cute. But what? That's what it says. Got some other big boys on the market, and they choose Wardlow. Good, yeah, 100%. They got Big Show. They've got Mark Henry.
If I can ask,
who else do they got?
Swiz, who are you thinking of? Who did you have in mind?
Yeah, Swiz. Who did you want, Swiz? Let us know who you wanted. If you did not want, like, as their giant, if they're going to use a big guy, who are they going to use? Pirate Johnson says, "Man, Tyler Black as the Kane to Tommy End's Undertaker 2.0." Well, I'm confused. Pirate Johnson. When are we getting the man's man, Tyler Black? Who's Tyler Black? Isn't that
Tyler
Seth
Black
Rollins?
was Seth Rollins in Ring of Honor, but maybe there's another Tyler Black? I
As
don't
the
know.
Kane to Tommy End's Undertaker 2.0. Whatever you're talking about,
Oh,
Pirate Johnson,
okay.
I am on board.
Yeah.
I am loving this whole thing. Yeah, get Seth Rollins to go. It's unless there's a new Tyler Black that we don't know of.
Well,
Is there?
I
What do you
like
know?
I like the idea that Pirate Johnson is considering the Undertaker 2.0 to be Malachi Black, because I think that's a pretty good call overall.
It's a very good call. I definitely think that Malachi Black. But the thing is, like, I love him being the supernatural being on the show, all the way up until Bray Wyatt takes it from that baby boy, because that's his game. That's like, you don't think so?
I mean, what if they joined forces? What if they started a thing?
That's weird.
The Ministry of Darkness 2.0.
Boo! Boo! We don't need that guy in here. In the chat, Smith says, you would have to choose the Great Khali. Wardlow isn't a spectacle. Why are you on Great Khali?
Yes.
What are you doing, yes. Smith, you're going to go in the doghouse any second now.
I'm all about
but Big Show would have been great. I agree. That's what Swizz put a little appendix at the end. Thank you, Swizz. You were almost in the doghouse and you saved it. Pirate Johnson says, yeah, same name. So Tyler Black as the Kane to Tommy. I would love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that would be great. I think we should actually, and honestly, Seth Rollins, he's probably going to get cut next week anyway with the way things are working. Real quick, not to segue into WWE too much, but my brother was talking to my brother about all the. It's like they're getting ready to sell the company.
Yeah.
If they're getting rid of all these assets that are actual assets, they're trying to close these books up real tight. They might be trying to sell the company. It says Black was Seth Rollins and is the man. Beck Lynch.
Oh, Becky Lynch.
Beck Lynch is Beck Lynch. Oh, Beck Lynch. Beck Lynch is pretty funny. Great job, Pirate Johnson. Never give
Hong Kong to Pirate
Johnson.
Yeah.
Let's move on. 100%. We were talking about that. What were we just talking about
Hoovy and
right
Jericho.
Now? Oh, the Hoovy. MJF on commentary was a woo for me. He said something, and Jericho's like, "Oh, it could be." And he's like, "I just said that, JR." And he called Tony Schiavone an old fart. And he threatened to punch him and sock him if he gave him eye contact one more time. MJF is a lot of fun, even though he is a really piece of shit.
I thought it was very funny that he called. I forgot. He called Aubrey a floozy, and then he. I don't like that either, but I will say that the thing that I thought was really weird about it is that he called Aubrey a floozy, and then he made fun of someone else, a man, and Tony defended the man but didn't defend Aubrey. Thought that was a little weird.
I wish that MJF immediately called a man a floozy, because then that would have been fine. But he was being a little. I don't like it. I don't like it when he goes to those low blows like that. Just because he's already over as a piece of shit. Have some layers of depth. Be different at least, for goodness sake. But I will say something that I really enjoyed tonight. Danny Garcia in 2.0 versus Mox, Darby, and Eddie Kingston.
That's a woo.
I really dug that match. It was fresh. Garcia doing the chain wrestling in the beginning was really great. Eddie Kingston, even though he moves like a slug, he has the facial expressions, great facial expressions.
Yeah.
And Mox looked great. Lance Archer. I thought he looked a little sluggish. He seems back in the rhythm now. What did you think about the match?
I thought it was a great match. It reminded me of like a WCW like era kind of match where it's like, hey, we don't need to tell a big story here. We can just put on a good, entertaining television match, and there can be like room for everybody to kind of have their moment to do their thing. I agree. I think Moxley looks kind of bigger. Like he took some time to get a little yoked. And,
you think yoked is the word?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
He's got baby weight.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
He's got a little baby weight, but it's cute. It's cute.
I think Daniel Garcia is really interesting. There's when you created a wrestler in like one of like the mid 2000s SmackDown games, you could create like, what stance does the wrestler have? And there's one where like he's kind of hunched over and he's kind of like a real grappler. That's him. That's Daniel Garcia with the little boots, and he's just like ready to fucking take you down. Yeah, he's really interesting.
I was shocked at how good he is. I really enjoy him. I love someone who does European uppercuts.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if I could judge a wrestler on their moveset, if I know they do like a European uppercut, I'm sold. I think I'm gonna like. Only my favorite wrestlers do European uppercuts. We got some things here from Pirate Johnson. Pirate Johnson coming in hot for a big guy. Whatever happened to the guy that was hot dog eating world champion that only had 2 to 3 matches in AEW? Dogs,
God.
Johnny Hamburger.
He has a great name.
He does. He does have a sound off in the comments if you know his name. But he showed up and he. I wouldn't call him a big guy, and I wouldn't call him something that should be a shocker, Pirate Johnson, unless you know something else. Preston Vance 10 is a big guy. Okay, 10 is a pretty big guy. That's a good point. I think they're looking for, if we're going to go this big guy route, you have to go freakishly.
Yeah,
big.
It should just be Psycho
You have to
Sid.
go freakishly big.
Let's just get Sid out of retirement.
You're just a WCW nut. That's what Royster is. That's why he's on the show. He's the WCW nut. Fits perfectly with AEW trying to be their WCW best. Sound off in the comments if you're a WCW nut. They should have the AEW. You hear about Raw has a mascot, the robot.
The robot, yeah.
Yeah, I want this AEW to have like a little planter's nut or something.
Can I tell you something? Can I give you a big woo actually for me that I forgot about? And this falls in line with my love of WCW. But Sting. I know that it's like, well, he's not doing anything, but I love that about him. I love that he's just there. He's like when you play on a softball team and there's the old man on the who's there for every game. He's always there. He's like, hey guys, I'm here. I'm just I'm pitching. I can't really run. I can't do a lot, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, no, 100%. You want that bit. Now, I'm just watching an episode of Survivor, and I just root for the old people, no matter what. Yeah. Like if I see that they're just trying, even if they're not doing anything, I just want them to win. Sting actually, like, people are weird about Sting. They're like, I've been listening to a lot of Jim Cornette.
Oh, boy.
Jim Cornette is incessant about the fact they're paying him so much, and he's just standing there doing nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, that's the best thing doing anything.
Yeah.
Sting's just staring and not doing anything is peak Sting. We got something from S. Oh, love S. I'm so glad S is here. Trios match. Yes, got over the new guys while the stars still look golden. Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what has to happen, S. Plus, the post-match was great. I love Sting going in there and wrapping his arms around and giving the fucking too sweet.
Amazing.
Give him the wolf pack. He's got full wolf pack in there.
So good.
Jesus. This is pretty fucking cool. This is it.
I will say. I'm sorry.
got?
Pirate Johnson, feel free.
No. You got to give your will say, then we'll go right to Pirate Johnson.
I'm just going to say, look, and I this isn't about, this is a very positive arena, but there's just a fact that I need to call out here. And the fact is, these two guys, 2.0, were in NXT for years. And in the one night that they were on Dynamite, AEW did more with them than NXT did with them in 3 years. And it just shows that if you just put them in a good match, just put them in a good match with some good people, they're obviously going to lose, but you can still get them over even if they're going to lose. And they did it.
100%. And they did it, and it was a good match. And even those 2.0 guys, they got over. Them being outside and then them looking up and seeing Stinger, and they're just like, that was great.
Yep.
What a perfect little match. There are a few more woos in the night. How'd you feel about Miro versus Lee Johnson?
Good. Speaking of that, speaking of Swizz, you tell me that guy looks good in those boxer shorts. That works for him.
Which guy?
Miro.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Swizz.
Yeah.
You got to fess up.
Those are battle shorts.
Maybe you don't like Malachi Black's little booty shorts, but looks pretty legit. Yeah. He looks scary in those things.
He's a warrior.
So we got to figure out about that. But I thought it was a good story. I thought it was a good, simple story. Miro looked like $1 million. This is the best I've seen Lee Johnson. This is the absolute best. Lee Johnson reminded me of?
Who?
Edge in 2002.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He kind of has this, he's being a face, doesn't know necessarily how to be a face necessarily, knows the basic stuff. He just needs something else. He needs something else right now. And he also has a similar body type to Edge in that time frame. Tall, lanky, athletic, jumps well. But I really like that. Do you have any other woos then? Do you have a woo that would counteract that Miro?
Let me check my
wait, real quick. We got some things
absolutely.
piling up we forgot Pirate to get to Pirate Johnson. I always wanted to see Aleister Black and Finn Balor team up. When I was still watching WWE about a year ago, that would have been great. That would have been great. Honestly, did they even match against each other at all?
So.
Aleister Black versus the Demon King?
Really
pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Tony says, Tony, thank you so much for joining us today. Tony, he's been around. Tony's been around the block of the dog pound. So watch out, friends. Watch out. Tony writes, poor Hangman. We're going to talk
We're going to get
Hangman.
into that.
We're going to get, that's in my what's.
Okay. All right.
It's in my middles, but my what's as well. The Sting is the best, 100%. Yeah. And honestly, it's less about Sting. It's more about how people react to him. Very good point, S. Now we're into Miro's here. Swizz says Miro's got some lovely red boxers like malaria. I know you meant Malachi. But I read then he corrects underneath, says Malachi. But I like when you actually wrote malaria. I think really funny thing to say. I think that's a really funny thing to say. And that's a good point. They look very lovely. Swizz knows style. Yeah. That's one thing I know about Swizz. Maybe, honestly, I think he should go back to the tights because Swizz knows a little bit more about this stuff than I do, to be honest. We love you, Swizz. Give a honk in the chat for Swizz because Swizz is doing a great job as well as all of you are. Give a honk for yourselves. What else were we talking about? Any other? What would you say is a woo list? Do you have another woos in there?
I don't know if I have any outright woos. I have some passive woos, and then I have some things that were woos, but then weird things happen.
Give a passive woo. Give a passive woo to us right now.
The first segment with the Elite is a passive woo.
The first segment with the Elite. When they're playing the basketball again?
When I love Kenny Omega's Cookie Monster shirt, I'm all about that. That's a woo for me. But I wrote this down, and I found this very interesting, and I believe that this has never happened on AEW before, and I was really thrown off by it. Andrade, Hangman, and the Elite, and Christian all had 2 segments on the show. And it felt very, strangely repetitive. Like, that Dark Order segment, Hangman didn't, I guess, necessarily need to be in it, but then I guess they paid it off with the in-ring segment. I think the in-ring segment would have been a lot more impactful if we hadn't had the first 2 backstage segments with Hangman and the Elite. Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't have the post-match interview with Christian.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect time. Because I will glaze over Christian and Blade. I like match.
Yeah.
And I like Christian. Christian really can go. Hasn't lost really a step at all from last time we saw him wrestle. Yep. Big fan of that.
They need to keep building Christian, and they need to keep showcasing Christian because he's going to fight Kenny. That's probably going to happen at All Out now. That's probably going to be the match in my head. So they need to keep showing, here's just a 10-minute match. You know he's going to win, but just watch him wrestle. Build up his credibility in front of new wrestling fans. And that's what they're doing.
They are doing it. And they're doing a good job. One other woo I have, that's actually a pretty firm woo that we didn't talk about. Layla Hirsch versus the Bunny.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love Layla Hirsch. I'm such a fanboy of Layla Hirsch in every way. I love her look. I love her size. I think her fighting people, she's realistic because she'll crawl all over you like a monkey. She'll go over and pop things out, pop them back in. How did you feel?
I thought it was a good match. I also thought it was Bunny's best match. I thought Bunny looked good in the match too. And
I keep forgetting. I keep sleeping on Bunny. Bunny's good.
She's good. And I think the thing too, and I know we're harping a lot on gear tonight, but I love Layla Hirsch's gear. I love the presentation. There's no rhinestones. It's not glittery. It's just
sporty.
It's sporty. I'm
very sporty.
All-state wrestler in New Jersey. Shout out to New Jersey, honk honk for our home state.
Give a honk honk. Where's she from in Jersey?
They say it, and I think Old Bridge, Woodbridge in that area.
Oh man, if she's from Woodbridge, I know that library so well. I know that library, man. Sound off of your own Woodbridge. Things from that match though.
Yeah.
First, Camille is the NWA Women's Champion. Camille something, I don't know her last name.
It's just Camille.
She's a very large person with a very shitty looking belt.
Yeah.
A very garbage looking belt. The worst title in wrestling. maybe in history.
Whoa.
Maybe in history. Because at least those shitty women's belts from the WWE, they looked like they were made of metal.
yeah. It does look like it's made of paper.
This art, it looks straight up Kmart. Looks like the Knockout Championship belt. It's not the Knockout, not TNA Knockouts. That doesn't.
Yeah,
but
it does look like what you're describing. Yeah.
It looks garbage. I love the site.
Yeah.
Pop out her knees, dog.
Yeah,
She's got to pop out her freaking knees. You can't be that tall when she's that short. She's got to pop them out. Sound off if you think Layla Hirsch is going to pop out them knees. But also, I don't. Layla Hirsch associating with that's a mix. That does not make sense.
No,
they do not fit. Chris Statlander fits
definitely.
Everyone in the Best Friends kind of fits in some degree. They're kind of these quirky, weird guys that all fit together. Should be the only successful member of Team Taz.
Yes, agreed. Absolutely.
She should, right? Perfect matching, or maybe even with Vicky Guerrero.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like just this pairing, so like that's a weird one. It seems like they just wanted the Best Friends on the show.
I think they should create their own APA. Like, I think AEW should have their own Acolytes Protection Agency. When you're fighting someone who's got an entourage, you call on these two big dudes to just come out and hang out with you.
Yeah, when Bradshaw end up being in bad blood with WWE because they don't want to be paid anymore because they're selling the company, they'll come over and then they'll do that thing. Hopefully that happens. Any other passive woo? Wait, we got some stuff going on in the chat. We got Pirate Johnson, good old Pirate Johnson. Rey Mysterio had a good match on AEW, even if he did forget one of his and took his mask off before his match with Cody. I think you mean Malachi Black. I think you mean because I think maybe one of his contact lenses popped
I think
out.
so too. Yeah.
I think that's true. Took off his mask before his match with Cody. With Cody, JK. He put JK at the end. Are you being silly with us, Pirate Johnson? You're starting to confuse me. The Schmooze says the visual at the end with Layla and Camille was hilarious. It is hilarious, but it also. Honestly, when someone that's very scary because I can't reach you.
Yeah.
If you're that small, I would never ever if Marco Stunt had a Red Bull and I was sleepy, I wouldn't want to. He'll
Yeah, I don't know. She didn't need to wear heels. Camille didn't need to wear heels.
She did not need to wear heels. She did not wear heels. She was right underneath her nips.
Yeah.
Directly underneath. Tony Rhodes. The half pound. Is that what they refer to it as?
That's pretty good.
Because it looks bad. Also, the FTW belt is worthless.
Totally.
Need to be worthless. It doesn't need. It is worthless. Do you disagree?
I don't disagree. I don't know. I think there's room in wrestling for silly titles like that. I mean, the $1 Million Championship is back too. It's the same thing. The $1 Million Championship is the same as the FTW title.
No, but yeah. It is, and I actually hate it. But the FTW could be cool if they if it was a fuck the world. We don't care about this organization. I'll defend it against whoever I want, whenever I want. But it's never defended, and it's never talked about up until this moment.
Yeah.
Up until this moment.
Yeah.
It's Camille Brickhouse because she's a brick
Oh, interesting.
house. Is it? I think you're. I don't know. Trying to be silly. Being silly, yes. Layla was the best friends because she had a connection to Wheeler Yuta and Beyond Wrestling. Why is Wheeler Yuta in the best friends? Wheeler Yuta is cool and all, but again, not a natural fit. But that's my take. Don't get mad at me, yes. Don't get mad at us. Johnson has something here for you. I don't get the push for Big Velvet. If Big Swole is good enough health, I would love for her to take the title and keep it as long as Sheeta did.
Wow, that's interesting.
Some Big Swole.
Big Swole isn't quiet about the fact that she has Crohn's disease, and at times that can affect her ability to wrestle. So that seems to be what's going on.
Oh, she's Crohn's?
Yeah.
And honestly, that would affect her positioning, even getting the potential for a title. Because if she's supposed to have a match and then she's got Crohn's issues, that's rough.
So
That's
But
rough.
I think Red Velvet's going to have a good match with Britt Baker, and we know that, it's going to be in Pittsburgh, which is Britt Baker's hometown, and AEW always kind of does good work with wrestlers in their hometowns. But
They do.
I don't know. That segment was also kind of like almost a what, almost a woo for me, because she just came right out. Like,
Yeah.
it felt kind of rushed. It felt a little clunky. And also, and I'm sure, you and Mo have talked about this a ton. I've heard it from a lot of people, but like, pick a side. Is Britt Baker a babyface? Is Britt Baker a heel? She wrestles matches as a babyface. She was obviously a heel in this scenario. She's going to be a babyface next week in Pittsburgh. What are we doing?
I have some thoughts on that, but it's a part of my what's. I'm going to get to it in just a second, but I'm going to circle back to that thought because I like that questioning. Tony has an interesting thought. Tony says, Nick Gage for FTW champ.
Yes.
That's actually not a bad idea. And never have him on the show again. Never, ever have him on the show. We don't want him on the show. He's a bad influence, and he's rough. It's hard. It's not hard to watch because it's so gruesome, so badass. It's so hard to watch because it looks like you can't lift up your arms directly over your head. It's hard to watch. S is Brick House, legit. Okay,
Awesome.
S. Okay, Schmoiz. Okay, it's Brick House. No, S said this. So it's Camille Brickhouse, which makes sense. In all honesty, that's an awesome name. We thought we were being silly, but that's a good name, right?
I totally agree. Absolutely.
Pirate Johnson, Layla on Team Taz would be a lot more suiting. Thank you so much, Pirate Johnson. When you were in the doghouse, Wrestling Dad Red. Don't get out of here, Swizz. Swizz is getting sassy. I just want people to be able to walk and be healthy. Do we have any other major move on to the what's, Royster?
Oh, real quick woo, very, very silly. We don't need to talk about it, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't see it because it was a commercial. But the PBR commercial with Matt Cardona, that was weird and pretty fun. He's like sitting by a pool, and then Hornswoggle, Smart Mark Sterling, and the other guy, who's his tag team partner. That guy. You know him.
I have no idea. Who the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, his tag team partner, where he had the all-time.
That whole crew of the
no, but yes. They show up and they're like, "Isn't this supposed to be a party?" And then Chelsea Green's like, "It is a party," and she fills a super soaker with a PBR and starts squirting them with it.
Well done. PBR is on it. I really like PBR, and I like that they're real into the pizza cutter.
Yeah.
They really want to be a part of the AEW scene. Very fun. Very fun.
Brian Myers, that's his name. Brian Myers. Kurt Hawkins.
S wrote PBR commercial humped. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, humped. It humped big time, S. Oh yeah, that's very good. Give a Hong Kong for S, right? Are you gonna get humped? Are you gonna get humped tonight?
You getting humped?
By Domino's, now we got Little Caesars. Lol. Tony said that. We did get a Little Caesars commercial, which is fine.
Yeah.
Peace out, Domino's. You want to be a part of the fun?
Yeah,
get
totally.
out.
Absolutely.
What kind of pizza are you gonna get next, Royster, when you order pizza?
I'll probably do something local around here. But of the chain pizzas, I would do Papa John's, honestly. I'm supporting Shaq.
Okay, support Shaq, because in all honesty, if it was still the Papa John, he's a scary guy. We got to talk about Papa John someday.
Yeah.
NJPW, Pirate Johnson says, NJPW's never belts. NJPW's never belts are probably the. Crohn's sucks. My wife has
bummer.
Crohn's. Crohn's does suck, Pirate Johnson, and everyone give Pirate Johnson's wife a honk. She deserves it. That's hard stuff, but you know what? We're glad you're powering through it. And yeah, screw Crohn's. Yeah. We don't like. But S writes Brian Myers. What was that?
Thank you. Yeah, that's Matt Cardona, aka Zack Ryder's tag team partner.
Oh, Kurt Hawkins.
Kurt Hawkins, yes.
The Edgeheads. That's right. The Edgeheads.
Yes.
On to the what's. Let's get into some what's here. Royster, what's your biggest what of the evening? Biggest what, which is the bad stuff. That's the worst.
My biggest what of the evening is maybe those Andrade segments, the second Andrade segment specifically, The first one was okay, fine. Lucha Brothers, Pac couldn't make it because they screwed up his travel. And I was really at Chavo Guerrero's segment, like Chavo Guerrero's part in the first segment I thought was good. I think Chavo has some promise as being Andrade's manager. But the second segment where Fuego del Sol just kind of came in and they beat him up, and then they said, like, oh, well, no one's ever going to get, like, Lucha Brothers, you're never going to get any titles as long as you're not with us. Who said they're looking for titles? What's going on here?
There's a lot of assumptions going on, mostly that Andrade needs Chavo. Andrade necessary. That weird thing with Fuego getting beaten down.
Strange.
It was just stupid. Like, clean his shoes. Clean his shoes. He's got to clean. Like, there was no reason for it. There was no story to it. It was just it was annoying. But it's something that you just mentioned right now, where they've had multiple. Andrade got interrupted immediately by Chavo.
Right.
And there's a lot of that going on. Andrade starts speaking, interrupted immediately by Chavo. Britt Baker immediately interrupted by Red Velvet. And Hangman immediately interrupted by the Elite. And mine, before we see it, I don't want a lot. And I get they don't want to do a promo parade where they're out there forever, so they want to keep it rolling. But there's something wrong with the person that's in the gorilla position that's telling them to go, because they're going too fast.
Yeah. I completely agree. I completely agree. And I was really excited specifically for that Hangman segment. I was excited to hear from Hangman because it made sense in a way. Of all of the like double segments that they did on the show, that one made the most sense to me because Hangman just made a decision that he's going to back away from the Dark Order. And now he's going to come out. Tony asked him to come out and talk about it. So let him talk about it a little bit. Let him talk about it, and they didn't, and I liked what they did there. I thought that segment was okay, but I needed to hear more from Hangman first.
What did you think of the Dark Order giving Adam some space?
I appreciate that. I think that's good. I think that's I think it's good. And I think the reason why the Elite and Hangman, this is in storyline, the reason why the Elite and Hangman got to the place that they're at currently is because they didn't give Hangman the space he asked for when he originally asked for it. And they're respecting him as a human and saying, you said you want space, we'll give you that space.
Positive messages.
They really are.
Really positive messages about like being there for your friends, listening to them when they tell you things. I think it's really great. Honestly, that was in my middle woos. The only reason I held it back is because I didn't like the Elite where they came out to the ring in the beatdown. I didn't like that. I thought I just find them so annoying. Like they're trying to be annoying and like kind of like in the same boastful way that the New Day was when they were first heels. Just don't understand how to be themselves. Like the New Day knew how to be themselves, and that's kind of what got them to be over in a bad way and a good way.
Well, the thing that's interesting to me, there's a couple of quick things, then I think we should get to the chat. But one thing that really kind of bugs me about Kenny is that Kenny's really good at being really stupid and ridiculous, and also really good at like being a serious heel. Like when he gets serious and gets focused, he can cut a mean promo, he can be a jerk, and it works. But to see both of those sides on the same show, they kind of canceled each other out for me, and it kind of just became a little bit of white noise because he can be silly and goofy, but then suddenly he's deadly serious, and he did the classic WWF, like, put the title in your face, and you're never going to get this, you're never going to get this. Yeah, I mean, it pretty much signs the fact that he's going to get it at some point. Like, it's going to happen, which is great.
Yeah.
The other thing...
Last week.
Yeah. And then the last thing, too, is that the Bucks, like, circa 2013, 14, whatever it might be, were like shitty heels, and they got over huge just being really obnoxious and shitty. But then eventually people started loving them for doing that, and then they became baby faces because they were being shitty and obnoxious. So they can't go back to what they were doing. They need to find a new way to be shitty and obnoxious, which they really haven't quite figured out yet, but they're still working on it. That's what I think.
Yeah. And actually, I want to get to the interesting point of what you just said in terms of Britt Baker. But let's get into the chat real quick. Pyro Johnson says, I kind of hope Britt is Adam Cole bait. Not sure how AEW would have used Zelina, but I thought it was mildly odd she didn't follow her spouse to AEW. Well, I don't think it's necessarily odd. They're their own people. They have their own relationships. They've had their own contract. But I appreciate what you're saying. I appreciate what you were saying, Pirate Johnson.
Something also keep in mind there, too, is that Adam Cole, in real life, his best friends in the world are the Young Bucks. So
yeah,
there's also that,
There's
too.
a lot of bait.
There's a lot of bait.
Over there for him. Right, the Edgeheads. Yes, we love the Edgeheads. Thank you so much, Pirate Johnson. Pirate Johnson, AEW and Impact are working together. We could so have Christian with the two Edgeheads as his flunkies, lol.
What a silly
fun,
time.
But they really didn't have a connection with Christian. They really didn't have a connection. But who knows?
Yeah, why not make one?
It's fun. It's fun booking, Pirate Johnson. Tony writes, Brian Myers is not Kurt Hawkins. Wait, what? Spirit, but not literally. I'm confused. Brian Myers is so much in a better place on Impact. That's true, Tony. That's a good point.
Absolutely.
He's in a much better place, and I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the Edgeheads over there. Talk about Britt Baker real quick, because you brought up an interesting point about pick a side, heel or face. I don't think she needs to do that if they booked her properly. They Stone Cold Steve Austin on the rise, getting hotter and hotter for being a shithead that doesn't trust anyone, that's always looking over his back and flipping everyone out and never trusting anyone, beating up everyone. And it's getting over that. You don't want him to do babyface things. You have to book him with people that are heel enough to get a reaction still, but not heel enough to take away, because the issue is Britt Baker's over. She is over. And whoever they face them against has to be strong enough of a character to be over on their own right. Red is going to be drowned out. No one cares. Unfortunately, Velvet hasn't been around long enough. What Red Velvet, Lander, or who else? The issue is the women's division isn't very filled, so they need to bring people in, honestly.
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa's there, but honestly, she's not as over.
Yeah.
She's top dog. She's top dog. Who could face her? Who could face her right now?
Well, I do think they need to keep her away from Thunder Rosa as well, because they had such an iconic match the first time. Let that breathe as long as you possibly can.
Let it breathe.
Well, the rumor mill's turning that they're bringing in Ruby Soho soon, aka Ruby Riott.
Actually, that's pretty good.
That's the rumor, and that should be good. I mean, there's people there. I mean,
but the issue is she's going to get nuked too, because Britt Baker is dynamite on the mic. Probably will be more over than Ruby Riott is when she gets in.
Maybe.
And then Ruby Riott, after her match with Britt, is going to be Merker that doesn't have much of a reaction. You know?
I think she's going to have a much bigger reaction than you're thinking. And the only reason I say that is because, yes, like AEW's brought in multiple ex-WWE guys at this point, but they haven't really brought in any ex-WWE women other than Ty Conti. So I think she's going to get a pretty good reaction. She was also very popular on the indie scene before they hired her initially. She got a raw deal from the WWE, so she's going to have that feel-good momentum going. I think they're in a good place with her. I think the other person who's injured right now, they mentioned it on the show tonight, who I think would be a great opponent for her, is Serena Deeb. I think Serena Deeb would be really good.
Serena would be great, but again, the issue with Serena Deeb, I think, is a little similar, where she's over on the highest of the mid card of women. She doesn't, even though she's great, she's amazing, and I want her to be champion. I want her to have something to sink her teeth into. She's kind of like just a little bland. A little bland up in a match with the crowd. The crowd will chew her up.
Hear me out on this.
One who would be good?
Yeah, no, go.
Mickie James.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Have Mickie James come in. Mickie James is over. She'll get a big pop.
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Country Hall of Famer. She's going to come in and have a match with her.
Definitely.
Because then Mickie James won't lose anything. The Mickie James head will still be cheering Mickie James, but it'll be one of those back in Mickie James.
Yeah.
DMD. Mickie James. It'll be one of those.
Do you
Who
remember
did you think?
a few years ago when Asuka was NXT champion and they kind of ran out of opponents for her? So they were just like, let's bring in Mickie James. And Mickie James wrestled her and gave her a whole new level of credibility with North American fans. And I think the same thing could happen here. My only thought is, do you remember, they've done this multiple times, but the one I have in my head, because I look at Serena Deeb similar to the way I look at Bret Hart, obviously different levels, but like not the most exciting on the mic, but like excellent wrestlers, and they get over because they're genuine and they're just very good wrestlers. He did a thing where he had knee surgery in 97 in the WWF, but he had to keep wrestling. So they formed the Hart Foundation, and he would come out in a wheelchair and he'd have people around him. They would do the dirty work and he would cut like heel promos. I think she turn her heel. She's got the knee thing. She's in a wheelchair, and then let's form a women's faction. Why isn't there a women's faction? Let's go.
There should be. Or have women join the existing
Totally.
factions. We got Chris Statlander in the best friend, and that's it.
Exactly.
Why isn't there a woman in Pinnacle? Why isn't there a woman in Team Taz?
Layla Hirsch for Team Taz, yeah.
Layla Hirsch. Pyro Johnson understands. We got some things here. Tony writes Britt Baker versus Diamante.
Yeah.
Bless her. Bless her to death. But like she's not going to change that dial. That's a dark match.
Yeah.
That'd be a great Dynamite match. That'd be a great Dynamite match. But like it's not is someone though.
Sure.
Honestly, Jade is the person that I think would, because people would boo Jade. They fucking hate Jade, and she would get. And so there would be some benefit to it. We got S. That's a cool wrestling dad take on Baker. High five. That's right. Keep her this way. Let's not change her, but we have to feed her the right people.
You also have to get rid of Rebel, though. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Don't get rid
here's
of
my thing,
Rebel.
though. Yes, Rebel's part of the package, but if you want to do the Stone Cold thing with her, which I totally agree with, you should absolutely do, your manager can't be sneak attacking people with a crutch. Steve Austin.
No, but that's part of her.
All right.
Part of her. She's a cheater. She's a cheater. She's a shit. This is NWO. This is NWO. You can't turn off the faucet when they're filling the cup. You can't. The cup's still not full yet. It's a never-ending cup. You can't turn off the faucet. Swizz is going to take a trip to the doghouse, Rooster. Swizz is going to take a trip to the doghouse. Get ready for the barking. Get Abaddon off of Dark finally. Give her some dental work. Now, hold on. I don't know about her dental work. I think she's got blacked out teeth. Maybe that's what the Swizz is referring to. Abaddon, I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't get it. She's not very good at. She's a little sluggish. She's a little slow, and her character work is like the thing is she's a character that doesn't sell sometimes, sells other times. There's no rhyme or reason. You know, if you're going to be a character that doesn't sell, you have to have a reason for those moments. You know, Undertaker, he like wouldn't sell forever, and then something would get him, and then he gets rocked. But then he has a sit-up moment. Kane, same way. Like everyone has that thing. Even Rusev has like a point when, but she does that at such inconsistent times, and she should pair up with Loot Society or whatever they call it.
Chaos Project.
They should be Chaos Project.
Yeah. There you go. Another woman who should be with a faction.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And then
Su Yung, pretty cool. Undead Bride, Su Yung, wrestles in Impact. She I think she's like 3 different characters right
I have seen Su Yung. I really like Su Yung. Yeah, you're right.
Tony, are you a big Impact Wrestling fan? Because that's a lot of Impact Wrestling references you're making here.
Of course. Tony is the biggest Impact Wrestling fan. That's why he's in the doghouse most of the time. But besides, I wrote down Elite promo was very annoying. And, one last thing I got to go over, and then we could maybe wrap it up soon.
Yeah.
What did you think of Brian Cage's promo? Hey, they say I'm nobody better than Cage. No one says that they're better than Cage. I never wanted to be a part of FTW. They wanted me to be a part. I don't want your title.
Yeah.
I don't want your title.
Yeah.
He's gaslighting them because he definitely wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah. I try to be as diplomatic as possible when talking about these things, but I just don't think Brian Cage has a personality, no matter how hard he tries. I don't buy it. I don't like it. He was with Taz because Taz has personality and he doesn't. I don't really buy him as a babyface necessarily. He's too beefy and too bland. He likes skateboarding. If he started like popping kick flips next week, I would be like, I don't care. I still don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just not into it.
He's the only person on Team Taz that needed Taz. He's the only one.
Hook doesn't even need him.
Barely needs him. Hook has like an aura about him at least. Yeah. He comes out like, I'm like, I want to see what this kid could do. Brian Cage, I'm just like, seeing it.
Yeah.
Like, you need a mouthpiece. Yeah. You need.
Yeah.
Brian Cage should have broken off together, and they were a team together because they make sense together. Mm-hmm. They look like they should be together. Yeah. It would made more sense. Yeah. Tony writes, I know he's all over the place. He's not just an Impact guy, but he knows his stuff. Tony knows his stuff. Give a honk for Tony. And Pirate Johnson wrote, Abaddon looks like one of Sue Young's bridesmaids. That's harsh. That's
kind of lines up, though.
Good point, Pirate Johnson. Rooster, do you have any other what's going on?
Let me just check my notes real quick.
Check your notes.
That was a good call out. The Brian Cage one. That's a what for me. I would love to get Ricky Starks away from him as quickly as possible. Britt, the Elite segments, Andrade, Miro. Oh, Hoovy forced to wrestle his style. We talked about that. Yeah, no, I think that's everything. I did love that JR and Tony referred to Layla Hirsch's boots as shooter boots. I love that. Shooter boots.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that too. They had fun with that match. And one I like when they take I love Layla Hirsch. And just really to get on it real quick. So good. Her facial expressions when huge, and she looks at her and she goes right up into her and her boobs are in her face, and she's like, all right, she's a big girl. You see her laughing like she's gonna like mess her up, and I believe her. I believe she will mess her up. And we got one more. Pirate Johnson says, I like Rebel back when she was in TNA. I didn't know Rebel was in TNA. I think Rebel is great personality. I love Rebel as a part of the package. I love the waiting room. Rebel's laugh is one of the best things I've ever heard. Do you love the waiting room too?
I hope with the I don't know if that's the right word, with the launch of Rampage, that'll free up a little more time and we can get a waiting room on national television, because a waiting room should be on national TV.
Why the hell isn't the waiting room on every single Dynamite? Why? It doesn't make sense. Lose and what's back next week for some more exciting action. Are we gonna try to do live news you can't lose this week?
Live news, yes, Saturday.
Oh my God, this Saturday we're gonna do the news you can't lose, where we're gonna talk about the news of the past week. But follow us all news related to the show. All news related to the show. If we have to miss a week, we're gonna post it on there. But we won't miss any weeks anymore because I won't allow it to happen. But I can't allow it to happen. I've been but we thank you so much for listening. Thank you all so much for joining in the chat. You really did a great job, and thank you so much. When you get a chance, I'm here with Roy Lazowitz. Roy, name your name. I was doing this improv game with Moa, and he hates it. If you were an article of clothing, what article of clothing?
I'd be a fine pair of underwear.
Of course you would. The finest silk underwear. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Have a good night. Bye. And now this is the trouble part where we're going to exit. We don't know. It's going to be weird exiting.
No, I hit end stream.
I love how you framed my head.